Welcome along to a first. It's a Racing Post cycling postcast. We're looking ahead to the Tour de France, which starts on Saturday. I'm Bruce Millington, and I'm delighted to be joined by two of the stars of the Racing Post peloton over the next 3 weeks, Matt Ireland and Nick Pulford, and also from Paddy Power, Romain Lang, who is their odds compiler trader, and he's French and he knows everything about cycling. So you are in fantastic hands. We will be going through the intriguing question of who will win the yellow jersey. Will it be one of the front two, Froome and Port, or will there be a shock? We'll look at the King of the Mountains, top team, top young rider, green jersey, first stage, absolutely everything. So by the time you finish listening, hopefully you will be absolutely chock full of great info, top tips, and some decent bets. So we will start with the obvious question, who will win? And before the chaps give their opinions, Romain, perhaps you could give us a nice big show of betting from Paddy Power.
At the moment, I'm fancying Richie Porte to win the Tour de France. Okay. It's a very open Tour de France this year, in my opinion, because it's not many top mountain finish. And according to the form of Richie Porte lately, especially in the Critérium du Dauphiné, where he did a very good race. He didn't win, but the last stage he did. He was dropped by 1 minute, and he come back and he caught every other rider except Fuglsang. I think he's one of the main chance for the outright.
But listen, Romain, answer me this. Every single Grand Tour, he has one bad day. So how is he going to avoid that this year?
It's a good question. He has improved his form quite a lot this year. He won the Critérium. He won a few other races before. I think last year he did quite well. He didn't have a bad day last year. He was just dropped on one stage because of a puncture. But all in all, during the Tour, he was doing very well. So it's no reason why this year you shouldn't be following Froome and beating him in time trial or some mountain stage.
Okay. Are you not worried about the team though, BMC? Do you think they're weak? Will he get exposed? There's a couple of stages. I know the one. I think it might be the one where they go over the Galibier. There's two massive great peaks and then a long flat. I could just see maybe a Sky movie star ambush there. You know.
It could be one of the tricky reasons why he could be in trouble. Yeah, he has some good teammate in his team, especially Greg Van Avermaet. Could help him in some flat stage or some, he's good in bumpy stage. He has a weaker team than Team Sky or Movistar, but they are all working for him. So I think it should be interesting. But yeah, Richie Porte should be fine for the Tour this year, I think.
And Paddy Power have Richie Porte as favourite. I think most other firms have Froome as slight favourite, don't we? What's the latest betting, Romain?
Alors, we took some money on Chris Froome, obviously, because we are best price on Chris Froome. At the moment, it's still quite equal, the betting we have on Chris Froome, Richie Porte. I'm surprised we don't take more bets on Contador or Quintana because they are still good chance, and we took quite a lot of bet on Fuglsang because he did very well in the Critérium Dauphiné. After, obviously, Aru did very well as well in the Dauphiné.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll discuss the other riders in a second, but it's Richie Porte for Romain, and I know Paddy Power bet 6-4 Porte, 13-8 Froome, 7 Quintana, 16 Aru, 16 Contador, 20 Fuglsang, 20 Bardet, and 22 Bar, which brings in Valverde. Now, Matt Ireland, we take a different view to Romain, don't we? We think that Porte is an absolute shocker, or have you had a swing round to thinking the Aussie can win it?
I looked at this yesterday, and he has, since his Grand Tour debut in 2010, he's only got 2 top 10s, and that is with one of the strongest, teams in the peloton. BMC haven't got that. On the final stage of the Dauphiné, he was pretty much ambushed by Movistar and Sky, and his lack of teammates was exposed. I think
it was a good comeback, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But I think people are reading into the fact that he did so well at the Dauphiné, but he didn't win the Dauphiné.
No.
And I think Froome would have been much closer to him had he not gone off like a madman up the first 2 climbs.
Let's talk about Froome then, because obviously, Matt, when his 3 Tour wins, he's won the Dauphiné preceding each, and he wasn't that impressive in the Dauphiné, was he? What's your feeling with Froome? Is he your outright fancy, or do you think we can take both the front 2 on?
No, not at the prices. I think he potentially is the likeliest winner. You know, he's got all the form. You can't argue. In these last 7 Grand Tours, he had 3 wins and 4 seconds, but he's not been as impressive as he has been previous years. And, you know, he's even looking at the results, he's in stuff like the Catalonian Tour, he's been, before he was like 18th, this year he was 30th. He's kind of regressing, and at 32 you think, is kind of it?
They're both 32,
yeah,
aren't
exactly,
they?
Yeah.
Okay, Nick, before we get who we think will win, what's your view on the front 2? A, in terms of their relative chances against each other, and B, whether the winner will come from there?
Well, Froome would be my number 1 pick of those 2.
By the way, have we sorted out who wears Dossard number 1 on the Racing Post team? Who's doing the outright tip?
Definitely Bidon boy.
Oh, yeah?
Definitely.
You're carrying. So, Nick, you're team leader, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay, so Froome v Port.
Yeah.
Who do you like?
Froome, I definitely have as favourite. It's not necessarily say I'm going to be tipping him, but I definitely have him as favourite because he's got all the form in the book. I think you could argue that he's deliberately had a lighter preparation.
Why? Why would he have a lighter preparation?
Well, I just wonder whether they've looked at... They want him to ride the Vuelta as well. And I just wonder whether they've looked at bring him to a peak now in a different way.
I think
It remains to be seen whether he can do it that way.
But why would you change a winning formula? He's always come in well prepared, rides a great Dauphiné, and then wins the Tour. So why have they changed it?
I think there's been a lot of unsettlement with the whole Bradley Wiggins thing and the TUE. I think that has put so much spotlight on Team Sky.
Okay. Now, Roman, we didn't get your view on Froome. Are you going to lay Froome until the cows come home?
I was not very convinced about Chris Froome in the last few weeks. You know, usually when he's winning the Tour, every time he was winning the Critérium Dauphiné. He didn't do very well during that week. I know, as you mentioned, Richie Porte was ambushed in the last stage, but that time he will have Damiano Caruso, which is a very good rider with him. About Chris Froome, yeah, I'm not so convinced this year about his form. Obviously, they have a very, very good team. Geraint Thomas could be a chance as well for the, to help him and eventually to take the lead if Chris Froome is not doing well.
Okay, right then. So, boys, you've both got your thoughts on Froome and Port, and I think you both favour Froome over Port. Who are you going to be backing to win the Tour de France? Matt, we'll start with you.
Having looked at it, Fabio Aru.
Right.
He missed the Giro. He looked quite good at the Dauphiné in support of Fuglsang, who I think that roles will be reversed this time. He's a punchy rider, aggressive rider, and there's less time trialling kilometres in this year's, which will suit him. He's got a great record in Grand Tours. His last 5 have been third, 5th, 2nd, 1st and 13th. And he won the Italian Championship at the weekend, so he's coming in at top form.
Yeah, okay, you make a good case. Nick, what about you?
Well, I agree. We haven't discussed it beforehand, but I'm all in for Aru. I was before Sunday, and then by all accounts, he won the Italian Championship very impressively. All the Italian riders who rode in that were all talking him up big time after it. They clearly rate him. They clearly look at his form and rate his form. His Dauphiné form was probably good enough, but you wanted to see something else to know for sure, and we saw it. So, I think he's a very good bet.
I'm going with you guys as well. I really, really do like Aru. Roman, what do you think of Fabio Aru?
I like Fabio Aru as well. He is in very good form. The only thing, it will be 2 time trial, and I think he might lose some time in the 2 time trial, even if they're not too long. He might still lose 30 seconds in the first time trial, maybe 40, 50 seconds in the second time trial in Marseille. And I don't think it's not too many mountain stage finish for him to take too much gap. So I like Aru maybe for the podium, but probably not to win.
Okay, fair enough. Excellent stuff. Now, who would be your best long shot, if you like, Roman? If you were looking beyond Richie Port and you wanted to take back a rider at a bigger price, who would you like?
Maybe Valverde.
Yeah, I've had a good look at Valverde. I think the course suits him, don't you?
But I like the fact that he targets the Tour de France this year. Obviously, Quintana is a leader, but Quintana did the Giro, so we don't really know which form he will have during the Tour. So Valverde could be, after 1 or 2 weeks, the real leader for Movistar. He's good in time trial. He's good in a punchy finish. It's not many long climb finish, so he could really like this Tour de France.
Do you agree that the one negative I've got with Valverde is there's no bonus points this year, is there? I think that could count against him because, as you say, there's some punchy kind of finishes that could really suit him. So I just wondered whether the lack of bonification could be a problem for him.
It could, but at the same time, obviously, in the past, Tour de France didn't have bonification either. It just last year they started to do some bonification. I don't think it changed too much because it was only 6 seconds for the winner.
Okay, right, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do our 1, 2, 3 on the final podium in Paris. Matt Ireland, you can start. Number 1?
Froome.
Number 2?
Aru.
3?
Quintana.
And Nick?
Aru, Quintana, Froome.
And Romain?
I will go for Porte, Froome, and Valverde.
Okay, I'm going to go Aru, Froome, Valverde. Right, that's the outright done. We'll get stuck into all the other markets in just a mo.
Check out Paddy's new VIPP Club. Get a £10 free bet every week when you place 5 bets of £10 or more. Max £10 bonus per person per week. Excludes shops. Selected odds. Conditions and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Okay, welcome back. Let's look at the King of the Mountains, that iconic polka dot jersey. And Romain, before we talk about who we think will wear the final polka dot jersey, could you take me through Paddy Power's latest prices, please?
Alors at the moment, we have Thibaut Pinot favorite at 3-1. Second favorite is Rafał Majka at 7-1. He won the polka dot jersey twice in a row. Pierre Roland is 9-1. And Thomas de Gent 12-1. All the big favorites of the general classification are more or less around 25-1.
Okay, we'll come back to you in a minute for your King of the Mountains fancy, but we'll start with you, Matt Ireland. Who's going to win this?
It usually has a big bearing on the overall, but with only 3 summit finishes, I think it could go to a breakaway. And as much as he caused me so much heartbreak at last year's Giro, I fancy Chavez. He's not been on great form. He's been injured, which I think would see him probably out of the overall kind of standings. So he might, in the second week, probably go and target this.
Okay. I think, Nick, it's interesting, isn't it? They ride over the 5 major mountain ranges in France, don't they? So there's mountains as early as stage 5, isn't there? So will that change the dynamic of the way that the polka dot jersey is contested?
I think this might end up being a completely separate contest to the overall. I mean, I looked at the last 7 winners. They've 3 times they've been in the top 5, but other times they've been 27th, 44th, 26th, 44th. I think there'll be someone who's out of the overall.
Who's that going to be?
I've got my eye on Ion Izaguirre.
Oh, look, I've just seen, Matt's got that down as well, yeah?
He won a stage last year. He's in good form. He's up and coming. He could be targeting it. So, you know, he's probably...
150-1, there you go. What about that? Romain, don't cut those odds just yet.
No worry.
What do you think? Who's going to win the polka dot jersey, Romain?
I really like the 2 tips I heard previously. I will go as well for kind of an upset. I like Lilian Calmejean.
Okay.
He's a French guy. He's from Direct Energy. I think this year the polka dot jersey will go for a breakaway guy. For the reason it's only 1 top mountain finish, doubling the points in Izoard, 50 points. But it will be plenty of stage, especially the stage 9 and the stage 12 on the Bastille Day, where it will be plenty of intermediate mountain, especially hors category mountain. And I think breakaway guys will have a very good chance.
Excellent. So there you go. The guys are going for some big prices. Will anyone go for a big price in the top team competition. I guess this is dominated by the big guns, isn't it? Romain, how do you bet on top team?
At the moment, we are 7-4 on Movistar, 9-4 on Team Sky, and 4-1 on AG2R.
And who's your selection for top team, Romain? We'll start with you.
I like AG2R. It's a team of Romain Bardet. It's a very well-balanced team between mountain specialist, Romain Bardet, Pierre Latour is very good, a young lad, Alexis Vuillermoz and Matthias Frank. And for the breakaways, they have Backlands, Domon, Gauthier, Gastauer and Neisen, and they will all go to breakaway. And I think it's, in my opinion, a good bet.
Okay, any thoughts on the team, Matt?
I've just flagged up Movistar, really.
Who's their sort of third man, though? Because we obviously know that, we expect Chavez and Valverde to be well up there, but you need a third guy, don't you?
Is it Bentancur? Carlos
Bentancur, yeah.
Basically, last year, if Sky are in for the overall classification, then their kind of defensive tactics just mean they just put everyone around Froome, which halfway up a climb they're going to be spent. Movistar, 2 years ago, Froome won, and Movistar won the team classification by nearly an hour.
So that's not bad, is it? So just to remind you, it's basically the performance of the top three riders, isn't it? It's the combined time of them. So Nick, any thoughts on the team?
Well, it's interesting going back to BMC and how strong they are for Port. I think they will be a lot stronger this time. It's a different team than it was in the Dauphiné. I think they could go quite well. They were in close contention last year with Sky and Movistar until only 4 or 5 stages to go, and then they fell away a bit. So it looks like a big gap.
Who are their 3 guys going to be? Obviously Port, and then who?
I haven't got the list to hand.
I just want this is the thing, isn't it? And if they are in support of Port and Port is contending, then surely all eyes are on that, and they're not. They're going to, once they've done their work up to the final climb, they'll fall away.
Yeah, but there's going to be other days when they're going to be up there. They were in the same position last year and did quite well. And I think Astana as well will could be one at a big price.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, Fulsang and Aru will go well, and they've usually got back up, haven't they?
If you've got 2 to go at it, you're in much better position.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, top young rider, the white jersey. What's the latest betting from Paddy Power, Romain?
So we have Louis Meintjes, the South African guy, at 6-5. Simon Yates at 11-8. Emmanuel Bushman at 6-1, and Pierre Latour at 10-1.
Okay, and we'll stick with you for the selection, please, Romain.
I like Simon Yates this year. I know he's not the leader of Orica, he's the joint leader with Chavez, but he did very well in the Dauphiné. He finished 13. He was second of the Tour of Romandie this year as well, and he finished 6th in the Vuelta last year. I think he has the pace and the momentum to finish in the top 10 of the Tour, and I think he's a good contender to beat Meintjes and Bushman.
Okay, I mean, I think Meintjes is a very solid favourite. I think he's been riding well this year. What do you reckon, Matt?
Yeah, I would go for the favourite. He was 8th last year. He was 8th for the Dauphiné when Yates was kind of 15th, 13th, something like that.
13, yeah.
Yeah, and he was just behind Buchmann at the Dauphiné, but probably would have beat him he did beat him on the final stage on the mountain finish. So.
And he's actually showing some ability to get out and do something now, isn't he? Because he looked like one of those kind of Escartin characters who just wheel sucked all the way. But he's young, he's coming forward now, isn't he? Any thoughts on the young rider, Nick?
Well, I wouldn't discount Buchmann either. He was a long way behind Adam Yates and Meintjes last year, but he's definitely improved this year. And the other day, as well as what he did in Dauphiné, but the other day he was in a 2-man break for the German Road Championships and was just beaten. So he's obviously in good form, and I think it'll be close between the 3 of them.
Okay, excellent, well done, lads. This is all going extremely well. We will be back to discuss one of the world's greatest sportsmen next.
Check out Paddy's new VIPP Club. Get a £10 free bet every week when you place 5 bets of £10 or more. Max £10 bonus per person per week. Excludes shops. Selected odds. Conditions and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Welcome back. Bruce Millington, Matt Ireland, Nick Pulford and Paddy Power's Romain Lang are talking Tour de France. We've been through the outright. We've looked at King of the Mountains, team and young rider. Let's talk about the green jersey, which is at the mercy of Peter Sagan, possibly the greatest sportsman active on the planet right now. What this guy cannot do is unbelievable. And do you know what? I've got to admit, right, this is slightly embarrassing. I've backed him for the outright. Because I think 1 year he's going to turn his attention to winning the Tour de France, and I think he's going to do it. That's obviously ridiculous, and you're both looking at me like I'm completely mad. But he's obviously a pretty hot favourite for the green jersey, is he, Romain? What price is he at the moment?
He's 8 to 15.
8 to 15. And can he be beaten, Romain?
I think if he's beaten it this year, I'm happy to oppose Peter Sagan this year for a simple reason. It's 9 chance of pure flat sprint this year, and as you know, the point system changed a few years ago. It's 50 points for a winner on a flat stage, only 30 on what we call the bumpy stage. And Sagan could target maybe 2 stages, plus going to some breakaway and win some intermediate sprint. But if we have a good sprinter like Kittel or Demar this year, he might take enough points to beat Sagan, in my opinion.
So who do you like then out of Kittel and Demar?
I really like Demar, but I know it's a bit patriotic because he's French, but Demar was quite impressive this weekend in the French National Championship. And is in his top form. FDJ will work for him. In the last few years, FDJ was helping Thibaut Pinot for the outright, but this year Thibaut Pinot will go mostly for stage and King of the Mountain. So the team will work for Demar, and I think he will have a good chance to win some stage and score a lot of points in intermediate sprint and in the final sprint.
Okay. Romain makes a very good case there for his compatriot Arnaud Demar. What do you think of the green jersey here, Matt?
I think Sagan is unbeatable, really. I'd like to get 50% on my bank account, which can get 8-15. He won last year by like 242 points, which would double the amount that Kittel got. I can't see him getting beaten. The one that I'd maybe look at without the favourite was Dylan Groenewegen. I thought he's up-and-coming sprinter. Will be in the mix in the bunch sprints and could take a few points. I looked at Buhani, but Buhani actually never finishes a Grand Tour, so there's no point backing him there.
And what about Greipel? Greipel will win a stage, won't he, Romain? He always wins a stage, doesn't he? Which one will it be?
Maybe the last stage, because Greipel doesn't look in great form this year. But he probably will improve his form during the Tour, and is very, very strong. And on the Champs-Élysées, usually you need to have a very strong rider. So maybe Greipel for the Champs-Élysées.
OK, what are your green jersey thoughts, Nick Pulford?
I'm in agreement with Matt, actually, because I don't see Sagan getting beaten, but the one that I've identified as, a possible outside chance is Dylan Groenewegen. He generally finishes second to Kittel. When they're on form, he'll generally finish second to him. But he's beaten all the others. He's beaten Greipel and Degenkolb, and he's got really good form in the book this year. So he could go pretty well, and we know he can finish because he finished the race last year.
Tom Seagal is not... Tom Seagal, what am I doing? Seagal. Tom Seagal, who's obviously also the king of prize fights, is also a massive cycling fan. And he loves Dylan Groenewegen. The amount of times we ring up in the morning and agree he's going to win it, and then he finishes either second or just out of the money. Always happens. Let's talk about stage 1 then. Slightly unusual this year. It's a 14-kilometre time trial around Dusseldorf. Not one of your short prologues, but also not a full-blown time trial. And I guess, Romain, the market suggests that there's a big 4 here, isn't there? Who are they and what prices are they?
We have Tony Martin at 2-1, Primoz Roglic, the Slovenian rider, at 3-1, Jos van Emden at 4-1, and Stefan Kung at 7-1.
And it's 20-1 bar. Matt, have you had a good look at stage 1?
I have, and I've had a bet actually as well.
Who do you like?
I like Stefan Kung. I would have been all over Rowan Dennis had he been in it. He absolutely obliterated the same kind of course 2 years ago. But Kung, same team, BMC, second in 2 stages to Dennis at the Tour de Suisse in 2 time trials, including a kind of prologue of the same kind of length. And he just won the Swiss time trial championship. I think 7-1 of the 4 is the best price.
And it's a quarter of the 3 as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I've had a bit already, I think.
OK, so Matt has already put his chips on the table. Nick, what do you think of stage 1?
I really like Tony Martin here.
He hasn't won since El King died, though. when was his last time trial win, Nick?
When was his last time?
Probably when he won the World Championship.
It was on
he just won the German Championship.
Oh, apart from that. Oh, it's ages ago, isn't it? I mean, you can win that on a penny farthing, can't you? The German time trial championship. But I mean, his win record is poor, isn't it, lately? Or do you just think this course and the patriotic home crowd will urge him to victory? Yeah,
I think he's got a home advantage. He's been and seen the course numerous times. He's gone early this week to recce the course.
Okay.
And ride over it. He's going to have a lot of advantage there. He's obviously got crowd advantage. It didn't help Wiggins when it was in London, but I think Martin is a different type of rider. The one that is most interesting again, I think all the others have got big question marks against them because they've never done it at this level. But the most interesting is Stefan Kung, definitely. He's got a lot of promise. He's only 23. I think he's definitely up and coming.
Okay, Roman, what do we do? Back the favourite or oppose him?
I will oppose Tony Martin for a specific reason. This stage is very straight, not very technical. It's for a strong rider. I know Tony Martin is a strong rider, but I like Jos van Emden. He won a stage, the last stage of the Tirreno Adriatico earlier this year. He finished second in the Tirreno Adriatico and he won a flat.
He won at the Giro, didn't he?
He won in the Giro.
I backed him.
So it's a 14-kilometer time trial. Too short probably for Tony Martin. Too long for some other rider, in my opinion. Too technical for Primoz Roglic. And our last point, this we won't know yet, but the weather. The weather might be very tricky in Düsseldorf on Saturday. It's supposed to be raining, to be windy. In my opinion, Tony Martin, because he's a local favorite, he will have to start in the last rider, so he won't have a chance to pick the time he will start. When Jos van Emden, because he's not a big star, he probably will pick the right time to start when it's maybe not so raining and not so windy. So, in my opinion, he could have an advantage there.
Very interesting. Excellent stuff, chaps. Now, before we do our one best bet of the whole race, are there any other markets you'd like to discuss? Finishers, top tens? What have you got, Matt?
I'd like to go under the finishers line.
Would you?
Yeah, I kind of looking at it yesterday, and there's only ever once in 103 years has it been over 170, and that was last year. It was 174.
What's the line at this year?
There was one firm at 172.5,
right.
Which
that seems ridiculously high.
Yeah, it's just a ridiculously high.
Okay, and Nick, anything for you, but not your nap. Save your best bet. Anyone for the top 10 maybe at a decent price?
Well, there is a match bet around where Meinkes is up against Dan Martin, which is very close because they were 8th and 9th last year.
Okay.
But I agree with you. I think Meinkes is the solid one. Dan Martin has been much more solid all the way through the season this year, but he just has a bad day, and he's still not proven that he can ride a 3-week tour. So I'd go with Meinkes.
I'm interested to know, Roman, what you think of 18-1 Pierre Rolland for a top 10. Now, obviously, he's probably going to be chasing either individual stages or polka dot, but he was 16th last year. I get the impression he's riding better this year than he has for a time. What do you think of Rolland's chances?
As you mentioned, he might be targeting stage and King of the Mountain. In my opinion, Pierre Rolland as Thibaut Pinot, they both probably will drop some time in the first stage to avoid, the big bunch sprint and the crash and, any problem. So they might lose some time and, to have some advantage in some future stage to go to the breakaway. If they are 10 minutes, 15 minutes behind, the peloton will leave them going. So I wouldn't back, in my opinion, Pierre Rolland. I think he will target some stage instead of the outright.
Okay, that's me told. Let's do the naps of the Tour.
This will not be beaten.
Romain Lang, what is the one bet people should have on the 2017 Tour de France?
I would back Demar for the green jersey.
Each way or straight win?
No, straight win.
Straight win, okay. Demar at 10-1. Matt Ireland, what's your nap?
Fabio Aru to finish on the podium.
At what price are we talking roughly there?
I would have thought...
Is that better than just backing him outright? Let's have a look. What price is he for the podium? I can't find it. There's too many markets here, but you definitely think just top three.
I think top three, yeah. Back him outright each way.
Okay. Nick Pulford?
Well, I'm going to be out my own here, but I'm going to go for Tony Martin to win stage 1.
Tony Martin to win stage 1. And I am going to go for Fabio Aru each way to win the Tour. Good luck, everybody. Roman, what does this mean? Does this mean 3 weeks without a single day off, or do you relax on the rest days?
I will relax on the race days. Obviously, I will go cycling myself if the weather is nice there. And
and tell us about the exciting thing for your hometown. Which is the stage that begins in your hometown?
Absolutely. So my family is from the east of France, and the stage 6 is starting from Vesoul, from my city, the day after my birthday. So I'm quite lucky. It's a kind of a gift. And the stage 6 from Vesoul to Troyes will start in front of my home place.
Fantastic. Well, that's something to look forward to. I hope you have a fantastic 3 weeks. Matt and Nick, looking forward to it. I guess there's plenty of opportunities for stage betting, isn't there? And obviously, every single day in the Racing Post and on the Racing Post website, there's going to be some fantastic stage previews. What do you think of the route, Matt? Do you think it's an exciting one, or do you think it's, will it lend itself to a great race?
I think it'll be closer. I don't think you'll get Froome winning by 4 minutes. I think it could be, as in the Giro has been a couple of years, decided by under a minute, something like that. Yeah, I think it's got the potential to be one of the better ones of the last few years.
Nick, excited?
Yeah, very excited, yeah.
Should be
and
good.
I think the route's brilliant.
Good.
And I think we're going to get action on stage 3. We're going to get action on stage 5 early on. It's going to break it up.
Brilliant.
It's going to make it interesting from the start.
Cannot wait. Chaps, thank you so much for your help. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back on Friday with another Racing Post weekend Racing Postcast, so do join us for that.
Check out Paddy's new VIPP Club. Get a £10 free bet every week when you place 5 bets of £10 or more. Max £10 bonus per person per week. Excludes shops. Selected odds. Conditions and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.